Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. This is Locked Up Sports. Wild night at the Garden as the Rangers clinch a playoff spot, and we are 2 days away from baseball opening day, plus the latest on the Ohtani saga and Mark Mancini and the Mancini report. Coming up next, Locked Up Sports. What's up, everybody? Bob Walters here. Wild night at Madison Square Garden for the Rangers. They clinch a playoff spot, the first team in the NHL to do so. To clinch the playoff spot, they have 100 points. They're the first team to get to 100 points. Peter Laviolette is an 800-win coach now. And besides all that, there were 7 goals scored in the third period. The Rangers won in overtime 6-5. And it wasn't the prettiest of things. Give the Flyers some credit. They needed this. They needed this win much worse than the Rangers. Much worse. They're scratching and clawing for a playoff spot, doing everything they can. The Rangers are now head in the President's Trophy race, I guess, if that's the best, that's what they accomplished tonight. But the Flyers needed this win. They played well. They had a 2-0 lead late in the second period. Rangers got a goal, make it 2-1, and then just the wheels flew off for both teams in the third period, as it was just back and forth until it was 5-5. The game ended in regulation 5-5. And then 30 seconds into overtime, Adam Fox, who has just been, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant player. He's going to be an all-time great. He's, like I've said many times, he's the second coming of Brian Leach. And he was slow scoring. He didn't score many goals early in the season, but really picked it up lately. He scored a lot of goals lately. He's got 15 now on the season. He's headed towards another Norris Trophy possible. So everything going right. Rangers now ahead with 100 points. 100-point also season for Panarin, as he scored. I believe he got 2 goals tonight. They all got 2 goals tonight. That's how many goals there were. Shesterkin was okay. Listen, he gave up 5 goals, but you don't want to do that. But Rangers have some things to clean up, but they are looking good. They've won now 3 in a row. They've won 4 out of 5, and there's really not much bad to say. The Knicks with a blowout win last night. You had DiVincenzo, 11 threes, setting the Knicks record with 11 three-pointers. Looked like Curry out there. The Knicks are playing well. The Rangers are playing well. We are headed into the Sweet 16. We are 2 days from baseball, and the weather is still It was a little chilly out today. The weather, I believe, is not good for Citi Field. It's not very good. So it's going to be cold out there. The tickets are going for pretty cheap on the secondary market. I saw somebody had said online, I didn't verify and check it, but somebody had said online that they were like $25 for opening day seats. Usually it's like $85, $90. I don't go to opening day. Listen, Bob Usler, who we're going to speak to on opening day, he goes every year. He's good. This is his 50th year going. But I can't spend $90 on a regular season game. It's really not, the pageantry. I get it. And I'm excited as anybody. I'll be sitting right here on my couch watching it. But to go and spend $90 to sit out there in the cold and, at least the Mets win, right? They win on opening day. That's what they do. So we got Mark Mancini also coming up in just a minute. We're going to get to that. The whole Ohtani thing. Listen, I haven't addressed the Ohtani thing yet. He's in some trouble. Listen, I don't know whether he placed the bets. Look at some of these things that you see, because now I see people online talking about, what about the games he's throwing? Here's how it goes if you haven't seen it. It's a Facebook post, a random Facebook post, a screenshot. It says, on this date, a bet for $5 million, or I've seen multiple numbers, 5 million, 2 million, 4 million, 1 million, 10 million I've even seen, was placed in Ohtani's home city. Like, how did they know this? This random Facebook person knows it, but the news and the IRS and all them, they don't know about it. But anyway, it says that a bet was placed for X amount of millions of dollars on a parlay. Braves plus 2.5 and a 6.5 over. And it's like the Ohtani pitched that day and he gave up 6 runs in 7 innings and he went 0 for 4 at the plate. First of all, don't believe the garbage you see online like this. That, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the The Lincoln one. Don't believe it. It's a quote from Lincoln that says, "Don't believe everything you read on the internet." How does this random person know? Okay, it's now multiple random people, multiple different names on the screenshots. How do they know that the bet was placed with an illegal bookie in Ohtani's hometown? They don't. Okay, so right there, it's fake. Secondly, there's not a bookie in the world, whether it's here, whether it's offshore, whether it's in Japan. There's not a casino in the world that's taking a $10 million parlay or even a $5 million parlay. First of all, people that bet that much money know that parlay is a sucker's bet, and they don't do it. Okay. Second of all, what bookie do you know or anybody knows anywhere has ever even been caught or even heard of that would be able to pay out? Let's say that it's like a 20-1. It was like a 20-1. Who would pay out $200 million? A bookie. You don't even place a bet like that with a bookie because you know he can't cover it. $200 million? There's not a casino in Vegas that would cover a $200 million bet. It's not worth them taking it. And also, if it was his interpreter making the bets for him, and he was putting down, you better believe if somebody came up to a bookie or a casino or any of these things and was like, I got a $10 million parlay or a $5 million parlay, they're going to say, hold on a little bit. Well, it's going to investigate this a little bit. And you'd be able to figure out real quick. It's not exactly a long way from the interpreter to Ohtani, and that somebody's obviously got inside information or they're throwing the game or something like that. The players make too much money now to fix the games. That's the point. Why would Ohtani fix a game? He makes it ready. In the NFL is a perfect example. In the NFL, you can't. It's so hard to fix a game. You'd have to get to the officials, right? Because if you're going to get to the players in the NFL, you have to get to either the running back or the quarterback, to make sure that it's going to end up the way you want it to do. Okay, the quarterbacks are making $50 million. The running backs making $10 million. So to get them to want to do this, you'd have to pay them more than they're making, right? They're putting their career and their livelihood and their reputation on the line. You'd have to pay them $30 million, and then you'd have to make a $40 million bet because you have to make money. So if you see these things, don't feed into it. It's not true. Now, I'm not saying Ohtani didn't make bets. I'm not saying, I don't think he did, to be honest with you. But I also don't think that the interpreter went and stole money from him either. Because I mean, now I don't know. I don't have this kind of money. I don't involve the banks like that. But I don't think somebody could just wire $4.5 million out of somebody else's account. And if they did, it'd be very easy to find out, right? Because you got to go to the bank or you got to go somewhere. You got to fill out paperwork to get this money. There's going to be signatures on here that do handwriting. I don't know what happened. And I think Ohtani probably did something wrong. I don't think this guy just stole $4.5 million from him. And I think it's terrible for the game. Right here on this show, you had Tim Brown come on, the baseball writer, come on and tell you he was the greatest player of all time. The greatest player of all time, the hit king, the steroids. I mean, how many hits can baseball take? The Dodgers went overseas. They split the two games, the opening of the series, which is another weird thing. Like, what are you doing? To be honest with you, I didn't even know the games were going on last week. I thought they were this week. I thought they were like tonight or like a day or two before the season starts. They went over to Japan or wherever they played these games, played a 2-game series, which right off the bat is stupid. Then came back, played spring training games, and then go back and play the regular season. I mean, what are you doing? You're not having a team over there. What's the point? You already do the World Baseball Classic, right? So you get the world involved there. You got to have 2 regular season games. Like, it matters at all. Like, that's going to all of a sudden have light bulbs go off in people's head and be like, oh, you know what? I like baseball. Here's a newsflash. They like baseball over in Japan. They like it. Okay. They have big crowds. They have a big league. They have the league right below the majors. The next best league in this world is over in Japan. So, like I said, I have no idea what happened with Ohtani. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and guess. But the stuff that you see online with with Ohtani supposedly throwing games is not real. And if you just look at it and read it, you can see that it's not real. Just think about stuff. Does this make sense? When you read something like that online, just say to yourself, does this make any sense at all? And you would see that it doesn't, because it's ridiculous. Putting a $10 million parlay with a bookie overseas at 20-1, and you think you're going to collect on $200 million? Well, and people, most people believe in this stuff. I see people that are like, oh, well, what about the throwing games? What do you mean you didn't do anything? Look at this. Look at the. Come on, people, get with it. Have a little common sense here. Have a little common sense. Is a bookie paying somebody $200 million? Would you place a $10 million bet with a bookie and expect to get your money? I wouldn't place a $10 million bet with a casino. And, well, first of all, they wouldn't take it. Second of all, they're going to do an investigation. If they're not going to do, what if they lose? That would throw the whole line off. The casino doesn't want to gamble. That's what the line is about. And if a casino is going to take a bet like that, they're gambling. Why do you think the casino wants even money on both teams? Right? If a bunch of money comes in on team A, then the line goes up for team B because they want more money on team B. They want even money on both teams. So then they can collect the VIG and they don't have to gamble. If they have a $10 million bet where if they lose, they're paying out $200 million, that means they're gambling. And you know what the casino knows? That gambling is a losing proposition. They don't like to gamble. Bookies know that too. So just stop with the nonsense online. It's outrageous. Just a reminder, 9 a.m. on Thursday, opening day special, Locked Up Sports opening day special. Bob Usil will be here. It'll be ready for download 9 a.m. Thursday morning. So you start your opening day with us right here, Locked Up Sports with Bob Usler. It's gonna be good. Listen, he's attending the Mets game, his 50th Mets opening day. That's incredible. That's 50 more than I go to. Thursday, Friday, Sweet 16, Saturday, Sunday, the Elite Eight, and then Sunday we will have a Final Four for you. So all that going on, we'll be with you a bunch of times. They're still not letting me go back to work, so I've got nothing else to do. So here I am. You're going to be stuck with me for at least another 2 weeks. Here's let's get to our interview. Mark Mancini, the Mancini report. We get into the Ohtani thing. We get into everything like that. So enjoy it. Here it is, the Mancini report. Hey, we are welcome now. Welcome back. We are joined by XM Radio, Mark Mancini. Mark was just telling me how the Pirates are going to be great, how the Penguins are loading up. How the first question is, Mark, how are your brackets doing?
I don't know how my brackets are doing, but I'm doing damn good this morning, man. I had a cup of Java. I'm doing this show with you that's sweeping the country. And the myopic Dodger fans got their asses handed to them in Seoul, South Korea, 15-11. So, yeah, I'm doing damn good.
Well, hey, listen, the Dodgers, and the big story is not even baseball with the Dodgers. I mean, that's a disaster with Yamamoto. He was terrible in the spring. I didn't put too much stock of it in the spring. Then he comes out, gives up 5 runs in the first inning. That's a disaster. What's going on with Ohtani? Is he gambling? Who's lying? Is somebody going to go to jail? Either way, I think what happened here is I think the guy, he said he loaned him the money. And then somebody in Ohtani's camp realized, we could get in trouble for this. He could get suspended and have his contract voided because it violates the collective bargaining. And they switched the story and said he stole his money. Nobody stole $4.5 million from you. You don't wire. It wasn't cash. You don't wire $4.5 million, steal it. So something's going on here. What do you think? What are you hearing out there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you grow up with somebody and then they make it big and then you take $4.5 million out of their account, well, the brotherhood is lost. So I don't understand it. I don't understand how you can, gamble away $4.5 million. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. They never made money on drugs, drinking, and smoking with me or gambling. So maybe the women's a different thing, but I don't understand how you can blow that kind of money. I really don't.
Well, it's not. I can actually understand how you could blow that kind of money. I have a couple friends who are big problem gamblers, and the amounts of money they blow is outrageous. That I can understand. What I don't understand is I can't wire myself $4 million out of your account unless you're there with your signature is going to be needed. You're going to have to be there. I'm sure if you have that, Ohtani has that kind of money. He's friendly with the bank. The bank knows him. He's one of the big people. You can't just wire the money like that. The whole thing is fishy. And Ohtani has a chance to go to jail now because he was wiring money with his name and his signature to an illegal bookie.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think, and now just to take Ohtani's side for a moment, if you got that kind of money, I'm sure you can do anything you want with that kind of money, right? You're entitled to do anything you want with that kind of money, except maybe illicit behavior and all that other stuff, right?
Which is what he's doing.
So, well, let me bring this up. If he wants to bet on games, because let's face it, the sports now have brought in these gambling sites. So now that the gambling sites, we can go back to the Ridley situation in Atlanta with the Falcons when he was suspended. If you're bringing booking sites to sponsor your product or something, now that these players are trying to, get in on it, why are they getting scolded? It's kind of like the NCAA with Johnny Manziel.
Well, you can't bet on the games.
Wait a minute, you're making money on somebody's name, but yet they can't make money on their name. So
because they can bet against themselves. They control it. It's illegal. They
control it. Why is there a gray area for me to bring in FanDuel and all these other things in my thing when I know that's going to create something, but yet when one of my players jumps on it, now it becomes a problem. Now it becomes a black and white issue instead of a gray area when I brought these guys in. Is that right or wrong?
It's the same reason. The same reason you can't play. You can't win. You worked at radio stations. You can't win the contest if you work there because you can rig the contest, or you can rig the contest for me if I'm your brother. That's what, because you have control over the outcome of it. So now there's millions of dollars out there on a baseball game, and even
I don't know. Pete Rose. What's him gambling have to do with 4,000 hits? He's the all-time hit leader.
Here's what it is.
Why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
Listen, he should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree with that. But here's what gambling does. He's the manager of the Reds, right? It's Tuesday night against the Padres. He blows out his bullpen because he's got 10 grand on him, and then the next night the game is affected.
But here's the thing: he's not getting up there and hitting. He's a manager now. It had nothing to do with when he was a player.
He blows. You're right. You listen. I'm on your side with Pete Rose. I think Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame. Baseball has a big problem with the Hall of Fame. They got their hit king, home run king. All kinds of. There's a whole generation of people that are not in the Hall of Fame.
Isn't the real problem Rob Manfred? Like the real problem is Roger Goodell in the NFL. Isn't Rob Manfred the problem?
Rob Manfred didn't ban Pete Rose.
No. But isn't Rob Manfred the guy that's bringing in all these gambling sites?
I bet the owners don't think so because they're lining their pockets with them, with the money.
Okay.
And it's legal.
So now Ohtani makes $700 million, and we're going to question what Ohtani does with $4.5 million, whether it's an interpreter or something.
Yeah, but he's now. Why did he change his story then? He said, "Listen, because I can't pay because that's shady anyway." Listen, I paid my. Why'd you wire all this money to the bookie? Are you gambling? No. My buddy's gambling. I just cover his $4.5 million debt, right? And then all of a sudden they go, wait a minute. You might get in trouble for this because that violates the collective bargaining. You wired money to a legal bookie, and he goes, scrap that story. He stole it from me. Come on, something's going on there, right? Something.
Hey, listen, when I'm living in the state and a guy tells me to wear a mask in a pandemic and then he's in a restaurant without a mask, come on. I mean, what's going on here?
Because
it's ridiculous to a certain extent. It's okay, and we've seen this before. It's okay to point the finger, and we saw the steroid issue in baseball. These guys but nobody went after Bud Selig, but everybody pointed at Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and all these other guys.
Because they're
now we're
the drug addicts. But he wasn't a drug dealer. He was the government who let it happen. Now government is letting it happen now. Like in California, they have.
Well, why wasn't Bud Selig thrown out of baseball then?
Because he made the owners a ton of money. The commissioner does nothing but work for the owners, right? He's an employee of the owners.
He still knew what was going on. If you go in a car and rob a bank and 3 guys are going in the bank, you're an accessory to the crime. Isn't Bud Selig an accessory to the crime
Yeah,
if
but
he
is it
knows
really?
what's going on in
But does
baseball?
his boss do his bosses consider it a crime? They line their pockets with money. He saved the
Well,
game. They're
whether
worth
whether they
billions
know it or
now.
not, Bob, he's still an accessory because he knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, he is, and he gets blamed in the public. Nobody likes Bud Selig. Nobody likes Bud Selig,
Right.
right? He's not going to go down in history as like, oh, this great guy. He's not going to. His name is tarnished just like Bonds and A-Rod and Clemens and the rest of them. But as far as the gambling goes, you got now. Here's a prime example. Last night, I had a $10 parlay, right? $10 parlay,
Right.
four games, four basketball games. I won the first three. Came down. I needed Samford to win to beat Kansas. Okay, the guy. Sanford made a 20-point comeback. They were about to take the lead. There was a foul called. It wasn't a foul. It was all ball. It was clearly all ball. The ref blew the call. Now, what if I found, and I would have won $250. What if I find out the ref had $500 or $10,000 on Kansas? I'd be pissed. I have nothing to do with it, but I lost out $250 because now it looks like he called that foul because he didn't want to lose his money.
Well, I'm the world's worst handicapper according to the XM, but
Yeah,
you know what? I made a buddy of mine a few bucks on a trifecta with the Rockets, Magic, and Pelicans.
There you go. Hey, listen,
So,
and those are sucker bets. Those are those parlays and stuff. Those are all sucker bets. Any real gambler will tell you, I can't enjoy a game if I have more than like $20 on it. That's my thing. I'll throw $10. I'll try and win like 500, which means to win 500 from $10, you got to bet like a whole bunch of games.
Well,
so
all
I
I can tell you is the Dodgers got to be a snake bitten organization going back to the Don Stanhouse days, Dave Golds.
Oh yeah, you're in all your glory with
Steve
this.
Howes. We've seen these guys they've picked up, the Kevin Browns, and now we get to the Ohtani. I mean, it's just a snake bitten franchise.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be in all your glory out there because they were riding high coming in. They were like, oh, little Mark down here, how we doing now? We hate the Dodgers.
Yeah.
We're not even 3 days into the season. Their star pitcher that they picked up sucks. Gave up 5 runs. The Babe Ruth of baseball of this generation is engulfed in a gambling scandal. Forget it. It's all falling apart. We're still in March.
Yeah.
It's great. You got to be loving it. You're in all your glory. I can see by the grin on your face that
It
you
will.
are
The
loving
grin is
every
going
minute.
from left to right.
Every bit of it.
I'm happy.
Now, what
And
about
this is a team that everybody thought, and hey, listen, if you can slay, Goliath every day, I'll feel like David,
So now you got UConn. You told me, right? Is that who you got winning this thing?
I got UConn to win this thing.
That's a lazy pick. That's the lazy pick. Everybody pick UConn. You know who's not going to win it? Definitely not UConn. This tournament is hard to win 2 years in a row.
Hey, come on, man!
Because you can get picked.
You're gonna come on. You're gonna come after me on lazy picks. You got these prognosticators every year.
Oh,
that
they're all got
tell me
UConn.
about the Dodgers winning the World Series,
And
the
they all got
Cowboys
UConn.
winning the Super Bowl, and the Rangers winning the Stanley Cup. And every year, these 3 teams pay on past performance players.
Stick around till June, Mark, because the Rangers are good this year. The Rangers are good. Then there are other good teams. Winnipeg is good. Vegas is good. Carolina loaded up at the trade deadline. So the NHL playoffs are going to be fun, and I just hope we get, and even the NBA playoffs. I know you're not high on the NBA these days, but I think it's going to be fun.
Hey, listen, I got my Bucks. My Bucks are doing good. The Bucks will come out of the East. The Clippers will come out of the West.
The Celtics are going to be a tough out.
Well, we've seen these teams that have best regular season records, and they go by quick. Milwaukee's had it. A couple other teams years ago, Seattle had it, and Denver beat them with Mutombo and everything. So we've seen these regular
the Dodgers
season
every
champs.
year have it.
Yeah. I've seen the Bruins go out, and we've seen Florida take out Boston. So I'm not high on regular season, but I will tell you, when you get into these 7-game series, that's when we got matchups. And if you're going to tell me that the Rangers can give some of these other teams a run for their money, yeah, they beat Carolina 1-0 last week. But you know what? In a 7-game series, I'm going to hold my chips on Carolina. They got a lot of lines coming at you. They picked up Jake Gensel too.
Yeah, no, they had a good trade deadline, better than the Rangers. And
problem with the Rangers is they kind of remind me in some ways of the Penguins, they have to outscore you and you know, uh, put up a
No,
lot of goals
yeah,
on you, but
I don't think they
their
score enough.
goaltending's shaky. You need a solid goaltender.
They have to listen. When Shesterkin's playing well, he's the best goalie in the game, and Jonathan Quick is a future Hall of Famer. He's got the veteran, and he has been lights out this year. Jonathan Quick might be one of the top 2 or 3 of the important players on this Ranger team all season.
Right,
Because
right.
when
But
Shesterkin was terrible, he picked
yeah,
up the slack.
yeah, but Bob, you know as well as I know, in a 7-game series, you don't play Carolina one day and then play Columbus the next day.
No, you're right. You're right.
And then go play Nashville and then come back and play Carolina. You're playing Carolina, till this series is done.
For 2
so
weeks. For 2
they're
weeks.
going to figure you out. They're making the adjustments. And those big guys you have up on that front line, you go up against a Vegas in the Stanley Cup. They got lines coming at you, and they got big defensemen and a big goalie.
Yeah, hey, listen, and then Winnipeg's got another big goalie, and like you said, Toronto's good. There's a lot of good teams in the NHL. It's gonna be a lot of fun and everything, but I don't want to ruin that for you. This is your day. The Dodgers are falling apart 2 days into the season, Mark. Let's remember that. Good luck in your brackets. You're in our bracket pool. I'm gonna keep an eye on you. I don't think you're going very far, but we'll see. There are Cinderellas. Maybe you put the slipper on this year.
I'll leave it with this. The Steelers now have 2 great quarterbacks in Pittsburgh.
What are the Steelers doing? Why would they pick him up? They like creating a quarterback controversy.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I didn't even get to that.
Russell Wilson is in Pittsburgh. It's a football town with a drinking problem.
What about Fields?
He left Denver where it hasn't been relevant since Manning and Elway were there. Now you're pricking Justin Fields, who leaves Chicago where they haven't ever had a 4,000-yard passer. And quarterbacks go to die. He'll carry the clipboard in Pittsburgh, learn the system. He'll be ready. They blew off 3 guys that did nothing for him for 2 years.
Oh, yeah, listen. You're right. Pittsburgh needed a quarterback. I didn't like the Pittsburgh quarterback all season. They still somehow wound their way into the playoffs, right? And
yeah.
So, which they do every year. It's a great organization. We'll see. They might be. Listen, they're smarter than I am. They're smarter than me and you combined. The Steelers, because they do it every single year. And football is not an easy sport to make the playoffs and have that kind of consistency every year. But his name is Mark Mancini. Mark, XM Radio. Enjoy the Dodgers losing. Enjoy the basketball. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Love you.
I love you, brother, man. I love you. Have a blessed one.
All right, you too, Mark. How about that? Thank you. Mark Mancini, always a good listen, Mark Mancini. Once again, big night for the Rangers. 6-5, they are now in the lead for the President's Cup. The first team to 100 points. Panarin, the 100-point season. Peter Laviolette, 800 wins. All this happened tonight at the Garden, and 7 goals were scored in the third period just to top it off. So, an overtime win. Fox gets the overtime winner. Rangers are rolling. Knicks with a big win last night over Detroit. DiVincenzo's really coming into his own. The Knicks are going to be a fun team this spring. We'll see how far we can take it, right? Let's ride as long as we can with the Knicks and the Rangers. Opening day Thursday, 9 a.m. Don't forget, 9 a.m. Available for download. The Locked Up Sports Opening Day Special with Bob Usler. And that's going to do it for us here. Brett's still down in Florida, so listen, you know what? We also want to say condolences to Brett. Locked Up Sports lost a member of the Locked Up Sports family. Last week, Brett's dog, you all know her. She was at the whole first season, right behind us, laying on the floor in the background. Stella. Stella passed away last week. So condolences to Brett, and thank you to Stella for being with us here at Locked Up Sports from the very beginning. She was here from the beginning, and you saw her last couple days when Brett brought her into the studio for the last time he was actually here. So condolences to Brett and to Stella. Thank you. So that's what's going on. We will talk to you guys tomorrow. And don't forget Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Bob Husler, opening day, Locked Up Sports special. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. I'm Bob Walters. See ya.